Hey everybody, it's Missy again. Thanks for joining me today. I have another layout for the Hip Kit Club, and I'm using the 2016 June kits again. And I already have an idea going around in my head at this point, and so I went ahead and used a lot of different pattern papers, and I cut out a lot of these stars. This is one of Kim Watson's exclusive designs for her cut file set for this month. And I remembered that I had this Martha Stewart flower punch, and it reminded me of these stars. And so I used it to punch a bunch of the small, well, they're not really flowers. They're flowers, but I wanted them to be stars. So I punched them out and then trimmed off the edges so they didn't look like flowers. They look like stars. And I'm going to use that Project Life card behind the Seriously Jelly Bean Soup piece there. And I'm going to use those two black and white pictures of me and my girls there. And so this is kind of where this idea began, and it does change a little bit as I go. So I'm going to add some clear gesso to my white cardstock, and then I'm going to come in with the exclusive stencil for this month because I've been eyeing it all month and my layouts just haven't gone in the direction to use the stencil yet, and so I wanted to make a point to use it for this layout. So I'm going to use a lot of the Shimmers products that we got in the color kit and in past color kits with that stencil. And I'm just going to start off by using it as a stamp. And this is kind of very similar to the packaging technique. I just spray it right onto the stencil, flip it over, and smush it down. And I do get a little bit of the reverse triangle. It's kind of hard to see because it is a messy technique, but you do get a little bit of the shape of the triangles in the midst of all of that ink. So I'm using the pink stiletto, I'm using the Mandarin Mai Tai, and then I'm going to come in with the no yoking, and this is the yellow, and I believe the no yoking was in the month before last. Would that be the April kits, I think? The good thing about getting the color kit is you almost always get some kind of spray or texture paste or pencils or some kind of paint, and it's going to last and last. You know, you're not going to run out of it in just 1 month. And so if you build up the color kits over time, you're going to get a nice collection of mixed media products. And so it's really fun to pull them out and use them month to month because they all tend to go with everything because you've got so many colors. And I'm just trying to create a messy background here, and I like how that looks. I love combining the pinks and the oranges and the yellows, and you get so many different shades when you mix them together like that. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this Jelly Bean Soup card or die cut, I forget what those are called, onto this green card. I love the color. So I've got some blue, some green, some yellow, some oranges, some pinks. I just wanted all the colors going on in this. So I'm going to try to recreate my original plan and put all of these stars back together. And then I realize, it's just not what I wanted it to look like. It just kind of looks like fireworks. And that's cute. I like it. It's not that I hate it. It's just, I don't know. I kind of just changed my mind once I saw it all there. So I put those aside and just kind of do some other things here. This is the Sponge Sugar Dazzlers. That's from last month. And so is this Jelly Bean Soup. Oh my goodness. Jenny B Blue Vibes. I'm going to add that to the Sponge Sugar, and I'm going to use this little foam applicator that I have to use with my distress inks. I'm going to use that and smudge some of these Dazzlers here in between these triangles on the stencil. And it's going to create a very light blue effect. And it's also going to give it really nice texture because it is a texture paste. But I'm smudging it down really thin, and so it's not going to be super raised up. It's just going to give the effect of these light blue triangles here and there. And that's the good thing about the Sponge Sugar Dazzlers is it's white pearly color, and you can add any color to it to customize it to whatever color that you want. And this worked out really well. I was very surprised. I had not tried to apply Dazzlers with a foam applicator before, and I love how that turned out. They're very subtle, but you can still see them. And I also did some white stitching through all the lines of those two big stars because I knew that that's where I wanted those to go. And I like the fact that black and white photos allow you to really go crazy with color with your mixed media products or your pattern paper, your embellishments, because you can use whatever colors you want, and it doesn't, it doesn't clash with the pictures or the colors in your pictures. Now this is one of Andrea, I'm not sure which one. One of her cut files. She has a whole set of cut files for June, and I cut Sweet out of one of Kim Watson's pattern paper, that really pretty orangey peach color, and I'm going to combine it with that Dear Lizzie Lovely that I cut from that phrase, and these really pretty exclusive blue stickers. And my title is going to be Seriously Sweet and Lovely Sisters. And that just kind of happened. I knew I wanted to use seriously, and then I just kind of went with the letter S. I was like, seriously, sweet sisters, kind of like a tongue twister. And then I just decided to throw lovely in there, even though that doesn't start with an S. I don't care. I like the title. And I like the fact that they're all different fonts, and it kind of cascades down beneath the photos in sort of this vertical, diagonal-ish design. And I do wind up moving sisters over. None of that's glued down at this point, so I'm just kind of putting it where I think I want it. I'm going to add in some thread like I usually do, and then I'm going to start to embellish. Pop dots, definitely pop dots underneath the pictures. And I know I've said this 1,000 times, and I'm sure you already know that, but adding pop dots to things allows you to not only create depth and dimension, but it also allows you to tuck things underneath whatever it is that you popped up. So it's going to allow me to tuck embellishments, thread, whatever I want underneath the pictures. So now we're going to embellish. I'm going to use some of the Heidi Swapp chipboard stickers here. They're the perfect colors for this. And then that little piece that I put right on top of the pictures that says A Reason to Smile, that's one of Kim Watson's exclusive die cuts. I'm going to try to use that little pink camera there on the left. These are from the Simple Stories, I believe, Carpe Diem collection. And even though those stickers are made for planners, I love to use them on layouts. They're very versatile, and they have very general type sayings, I think, for most of them, and so you can use them on just about anything. So I am going to give this lovely die cut here a little bit of color, and I'm going to use some pink shimmers to do that. I'm just going to use my paintbrush to kind of smooth it out. I didn't want to spend a lot of time on it, but I did want to give it a pink color. And I blotted it too early because as soon as I blotted it, it lightened it up quite a bit, and so I didn't want it that light. So I've got green, I've got that peachy orange color, I've got the yellow ampersand, I've got the pink lovely, and the blue sisters. So I've got a little bit of each color represented there. And now the puffy stickers. I've been hoarding the puffy stickers. Kim Watson always does a fabulous job of designing puffy stickers, and I want to use them, but I want to save them, and you all know how that goes. If you hoard it, then you don't get to see it on your page, but if you use it, then it's used, right? It's such a struggle. Struggles of a scrapbooker. Anyway, so I'm moving Sisters over to where you can actually read it, and I'm going to have to glue all of those letters down because of the gesso on the background. I know I've said this a lot also, but usually things do not like to stick once gesso is on the page because it's kind of gritty, especially the clear gesso. I find that it's very gritty, and which adds to the texture. I don't have a problem with that, but it's harder to have things stick down without gluing it, and it's also harder to write your journaling on because it's almost like writing on sand. Not quite as rough as sand, but it's very gritty. So I want to make sure that I get Sisters down straight, and so I'm going to use my ruler and just draw a little line there. So I am going to come back in with a couple of the stars. I don't use nearly as many as I originally had planned. And I really wanted to add in some of the navy blue, but I don't know, it just didn't go with this. I just decided to keep it light and with the bright colors instead of adding the navy. And I wanted to add another pop of something underneath that Be Happy circle. And thread is always a good choice to add as an embellishment or a little detail. These are the pink paisley fancy free buttons, and I'm going to add a few of those. More puffy stickers. I've got a touch of green going up there now. So I've got all of the colors up at the top, all the colors down at the bottom. And then I'm going to come in with a little bit of these enamel dots. And to make the word sweet stand out just a little bit more, I'm going to give it a little bit of a shadow with my black pen here. I don't want to trace it all the way around. I just want to kind of create the illusion of a shadow, and it's going to make it pop out a little more. I've already added a couple more of these little black clear stickers up at the top. I added some of the little black hearts, and then to echo that at the bottom, I did the same thing. And that captured piece is from there's a pack of, I think is it We Are Memory Keepers? I think they're geared toward Project Life, but I'm using them here on this layout. The last thing I'm going to do is come along with these Simple Stories words, and I stick a few right on top of the photos and kind of create a stack of phrases, but I decide it's too much and it kind of just distracts me from the photo. I don't know, I don't like it, so I'm going to fix that here in a minute. And it was kind of hard to get the stickers off because when you stick something to a photo, good luck trying to get it off, but I managed to scrape it all off and you can't really tell. So I'm just going to go with the one little pink sticker there instead of both of those. And then I'm going to add these other little, they're all white with different color letters. And they just say different things. Enjoy, smile big, love this. And I believe that's going to wrap it up. There is my final photo. I love how this turned out. It's very light and airy and whimsical. I got lots of words, lots of things going on, all my favorite colors. So I'm very happy with how this turned out. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I hope it inspires you and gives you some ideas on how to use your kits. So let me know if you have any questions about anything that I did or any of the products or any of the techniques. And I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching and have a great day.